Hi, welcome back to math class. And as I said in the morning message today, we're going to be learning about mixed numbers and how we can add and subtract them. So I think the important thing is, what is a mixed number? You guys might have forgotten from last year. But a mixed number, the definition is a mixed number is a whole number and a fraction. So in other words, here's an example. I had 1.5 pears for lunch today. So if I have 1.5, 1 is representing my whole number. Remember, the bottom number is the denominator, and it's saying how many pieces that pear was cut into. And it was cut into 2 pieces. And how many did I have? That's how many you had, 1. Now in this case, I didn't just have a half a pear. I had a 1. So a mixed number is a whole portion and then a fraction put together. So if I was to draw it, I would draw it as cut in 2, because remember that's the denominator. And I had a whole pear that was cut in 2, so I would shade both halves. Plus, I had another half a pear because it was so yummy, I wanted more, but I didn't want 2 whole pears. So I ate 1/2 of the second pear. So then this is called decomposing it. So 1 plus 1/2 equals 1.5. So just a little review there from 3rd grade to remind you of the definition of a mixed number. All right, so again, we're learning about adding and subtracting mixed numbers. And just again, to review this, decomposing or taking apart a fraction, a mixed number and a fraction. So if we were going to decompose this, we would say that we had 2 wholes plus 4/6. So we're decomposing it, we're taking apart. That's what we would be adding together. Okay, we wanted to put it back together, we would put it back, and it would be 2 and 4/6. So if I was to draw a picture, I always do this to myself. First, I would draw my divided into 6, and I have 2 of those, so I would shade all of this in, right? Because I have 2 holes. Say they're pizzas, I have 2 whole pizzas. Okay, and then 4/6 plus, draw our 6 again. Sorry, it's terrible, I draw 6 terrible. And I would shade in, make it look a little bit more even, I would shade in 4/6. Okay, so then I have 2 6 that I didn't eat. So that equals 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 2 and 4/6. All right, so I'm going to pull up a chair here so I can get a little closer to this. And let's look at, this is like those explore questions that you get when you're doing Ready Math. And some of the stuff I'm taking from Ready Math. So Susie measures milk with 1/2 cup measuring cup. She fills the cup 5 times. How much milk did she measure? So the important thing that we need to know first is that she's measuring with a 1/2 cup. So she's using a 1/2 cup measuring cup. And how many times did she fill it with milk? She filled it 5 times. So we want to know how much milk did she measure all together when she kept taking it out. So there's a couple of ways to do that. One is she did it 5 times, right? So we made 5 circles. But it wasn't a whole, it was a half. So I'm going to draw a line to represent the 1/2 cup. And then I'm going to shade that in. Remember, because it was 5 times that she did it, but her measuring cup was only a 1/2 cup. Okay, so then you would say 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2. And if I add them up, and I remember when you're adding, you keep the bottom number the same when you're adding or subtracting. So I would add the top numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or I could count the shaded shapes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I have 5 halves. All right, we're going to talk about what you're going to do with the 5 halves in a minute. All right, so this is another way. If I want to start at 0, Blaine, here's your number line, and I'm going to count by halves. All right, and I had how many? I had 5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, So now I'm looking at the number line, and the number line, of course, is split into halves, because remember, denominator, the bottom denominator is 2, so that's what you split it into. That's why I went by halves. So now I can look at this and I can go, oh, well, 2, because we got to 2, and then we went a little farther. 2 plus another 1, and remember, it's divided into 2, so there's 1, so 2 and 1/2. So she measured 2 and 1/2. That's how many cups that she used. If they're not, you could also say 5 half cups, and that's the same thing, right? 4. All right, so now I want to take it a step further, and this is what your Khan Academy lesson is going to be about. It's going to be on today. Is changing mixed numbers into an improper fraction, which we also call a fraction greater than 1. Means that it's got more than one whole. It's greater. All right, so if I want to convert, and I have this mixed number, and I want to make it into an improper fraction, what I can do is I can draw a picture. It's divided into 4s, right? So I have 2 right away that are divided into 4. There's my 2. Remember, I'm going to decompose it. Maybe we should do that first. And write 2 plus 1/4. Decompose it. So I'm going to shade these in to represent my 2. And then I want to add 1 more 4. So I'm going to divide it into 4s and then pick one of these. And there you have decomposed it like we did before. 2 plus 1/4. And then I'm going to count how many 4s I have. I'm going to count that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I have 9 4s, right? If I counted by 4s, how many 4s did I have? We have 9 4s. So now 2 and 1/4 is equal to 9 and 1/4. Or 9 4s, not 9 and 1/4. 2 and 1/4 is equal to 9 4s. Now, here's a simpler way for those of you who don't want to draw the picture. You want to just multiply it. Here's how you do that. You have 2 and 1/4. Okay, watch this, guys. Let me get a different color. I'm going to multiply the denominator by the whole number. 4 times 2 is 8. How many do we have? 2 wholes means that I'm going to have 8 pieces, right? Because there's 4 in there. So you do it, I always say, do it like in a circle. So 4 times 2 is 8, right? You multiply these two together. And then you have 1 more 4 plus 1, which equals 9 4s. All right, so there's 2 different ideas of how to actually do that. Now, let's look at the reverse, because sometimes you might get something that says 15 halves. All right, so we can draw the picture, right? So if it's cut into halves, we have to keep drawing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A lot of drawing. 11, 12, 13, 14. 15. We're not going to do that one, right? Because we have to stop at 15. We had to do 1/2 15 times. That's like saying 1/2 plus 1/2 plus 1/2, etc. Okay, and you can keep counting on until you get to it. It's one way to do it. So here, now I'm going to count how many holes that I had. How many were completely shaded? This one was not shaded, so we don't count that as a hole. This is going to be a half, right? Because half of it was shaded. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 holes, and then we have 1/2. So if I wanted to change 15 halves, that would be equal to 7 and 1/2. Because when I did my halves and I counted them out, I had 7 that would be all shaded and 1 that would only have half. Now, here we did multiplication. Now, remember I told you, like, all year you're going to use multiplication and division in whatever you're doing. This is case in point. You use multiplication with fractions. You probably didn't think you would be doing that. Here, you're going to do the opposite. So when you want to go from a mixed number to an improper fraction, you're going to multiply it. When you want to go from a improper fraction to a mixed number, you're going to divide it. And here's how that works. Kind of ran out of room here. If I have 15, okay, I'm going to divide 2 into 15. This looks like the division, right? Sometimes we saw that as the division sign. So I'm going to say 2 times what will get me, like Bob Barker, closest to 15 without going over, because we can't go over. So it's not going to be 10, because that would give us 20. So think of your, if you need to, think of your multiples. I'm going to move this over here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Oh, we can't go to 16, right? Because that's going to go over. Now count how many multiples you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means I can get 7 out of there. And I have how many left? 15 minus 1, or 14. 15 minus 14 is 1. 1, and the bottom number stays the same, half. You could also, if you know your factors, you know that 2 times 7 is 14, and that's closest that you can get without going over. So those are 2 ways that you can do it. All right, and that is what you're going to watch today. So on Khan Academy, there'll be 2 videos. Okay, there'll be a video for mixed number to improper fraction, and then there'll be a video for improper fraction to mixed numbers. And then that will be followed by 1 question set. It's like 7 questions, and it's actually pretty easy. It's just having you convert them back and forth. So there aren't a bunch of long questions. They just want you to practice converting them. And that's important for what's coming up with adding and subtracting mixed numbers. All right, so that's my lesson for today. And if you have any questions, as always, you can put it in the math channel. I know a lot of you have just been asking me on your own channel if you have a question, and that's great too. So good luck. Watch the videos, okay, because the videos explain it in another way. Also, just reinforces what I'm teaching you, and then do the question set. So I see sometimes you guys don't do the video, you go right to the question set. I really want you to watch those videos too. All right, good luck, have a great day. I'll see you later.